up to person needs exercise. February, March, April, May. Then April 1st, Artemis 2 took off. And then it came back 10 days later. And then the lady from Wisconsin was sitting at health came, did my health analysis. And then the MD 500 happened May, June, July. Today I'm 50 years old and 5 days. It's August the 7th. August the 7th. There were a couple of homes that we had a big picture window, maybe a third one, about 704, 104, 75 Cottage Grove Drive, and also 65238 Cleaner Lake Road. But I stayed in a lot of the places Mom had, except for places that were before my time. Like Mom was living up to about graduation time. She hadn't been pregnant then. After she was 19 in 1959, by 1964, she got pregnant with Lisa. Mom was like 23 at the time. Then Mom turned 24 from 1964. Then Lisa was born on June 30, 1965. And later on that year, Mom turned 25. And December 20th, 1965. And then when Lisa was about 6 years old, Mom joined the Worldwide Church of God. It was either what Ray, let's see, Roy Dudley Merriweather, and Edith Jane Cook, and I mean Clara Bell Nicholson were, that's husband and wife, Roy and Aunt Clara. They were married, and Mom's uncle and aunt, but Mom thought that she knew her aunt was her blood aunt, but the Uncle Roy wasn't her real blood uncle. But after I researched a little bit about it, I found out that according to what I see, they were blood related a little bit, maybe 20th, on average 20th cousin, and also Lindsay and Olean, Mom and all their mother and father were kind of about 20th cousin also. One of them might have been 19th, the other one 22nd, 23rd. I didn't pay attention to that too much and forgot which one is which. I thought it was more one way, I think, and when I researched it, it looked like it was the opposite way. I don't know. Maybe I don't. But Olive Olean Nicholson is this lady here. And here's Olive Olean Nicholson. She's my grandma. She was married to Lindsay Lawrence Shanklin. Miss Nicholson here was the youngest sibling of Mom's siblings. The oldest sibling was Aunt Clara Bell Nicholson, who was Mom's blood aunt, married to Roy Dudley Merriweather, whose father was Chet Merriweather, and his father was Sylvester Merriweather. Well, Olive Olean Nicholson here, known as Olean by her middle name, she had an older sister named Aunt Esther Nicholson, who lived to be in her 100-something early years old before she died, and she had an ex-husband who jointly discovered the Marengo Cave. I think a guy hence by here's Olive Olean Nicholson again. But Olive Olean Nicholson either got out in the sun or something. She had olive skin, like it said, and in her later years her hair had turned snow white, like my mom. Here's my mom's photo. But this is back when she had a full set of brunette hair. You remember Mom when she had her white hair and would wear those robes when we were up, in 105 Beechwood up in northern Indiana. Well, sure, a person shouldn't use pride and it's a secret, silent poison, maybe. You know, it sometimes doesn't always remain silent or secret. The other day, some people were walking outside and they were yelling or something. For a minute I felt a little insecure, thinking I might need help or something. I didn't know. Hacienda, it says. I got that one at a Hacienda restaurant. See, that is showing you the window, the American flag over here. I've got it's a little messy in here. Here's the Concorde airplane. I've got my printer. It printed my Andromeda photo out. I was looking for PGC 904940. There it is. Right there. This is a better copy. And then here's one that didn't copy so well. You can see the vertical regular lines, and that wasn't the greatest detail. There's a measure 57 for James Wallace to see. And then here's another measure 57. This is what the color printer printed. I thought I was just getting a black and white printer for $60-some. See, it wasn't the highest resolution. This is the Dumbbell Nebula. Also, here's my horse head printed out. I can make it without those lines in it if I took the slower method of printing. Here it is on another sheet of paper. I think that was a higher resolution. Here's measure 13. I printed it out up close. And Dumbbell Nebula. And here's the Andromeda on non photographic paper. I'm just putting them back in order. I need, now that I've got pics and site basically working, I need to learn how to use SS, like spectroscopic color preset or process or something. It's like a alignment procedure, but it's like a calibration for color. I've got to do that for getting the color calibrated. They say it works in all color spaces, and hopefully I get it going with Gaia catalog for astrometric analysis plate solving, because I need that to work so that once I get the color copy, I can just output it, have it on my screen, and once it's on the screen, I can save it however I want it to be saved. But in the meantime, it tries to do plate solving, and when I exit out of it, it closes the stacked image also, but it says it saved the good version of it in its respective output folder. Could be master or something, but I've got it saved at QHY-1. It's an XQD card that I was using. I was using my 120 gigabyte XQD card to save all my data for my imaging runs, because the single subframe on the QHY 600 was only about 100 megabytes, so you could get 10 of those in a gigabyte. So 120 gigabytes could save 1,200 of them. So I thought that was ample enough. But see, here's Pluto and the Thunderbirds. But so I've got 3 of the exterminator plugins for life that are compatible to them with pics in sight. I've got blur exterminator, noise exterminator, gradient exterminator, but with time hopefully I'll get star exterminator, and apparently after I process, then I will separate the stars and do cosmetic correction to the background and correction to the stars maybe, and then bring it back so the stars can be smaller size and not chrominantly wise or blown out or whatever different things the problems with, you know, the stars that would happen if you didn't subtract them from the background. Some people know it makes sense if they do that way, but more than it just makes sense, we need to do that. And so they made it part of people's imaging processing. There's post-processing, there's processing, post-processing. The processing's where it's stacked, and then post-processing is like Photoshop, where it non-linearly gets stretched and it happens. There. He moves along way faster than I drive my Jeep, and he's some electric bicycle. Way faster than me. Except almost kind of, but maybe similar to when I'm driving up and down north, you know, going on Main and Central. But I guess my Jeep could get up to greater. But who knows if it could, would, should, because it makes noises, stuff. Making noise. I'm not just talking about the pop, but it's, I don't know if it's normal and gonna need something big and major. At least it will just be upset that PWA, whatever it was, they didn't pay for it. $3,000. Could have had a $10,000 vehicle with no warranty. All God cares about is confidence sometimes. Dear, let me beat you if you don't have confidence. Other times he cares about the non-sin level and the innocence and a lot of other stuff. Looking upon the heart. Yeah, he doesn't want you getting married and having sex. He knows that would be a big price to pay. You have to have wisdom for that and know how much you ought to try and try on with all your heart for that to happen. And that's as good as going to heaven. Now, I believe in heaven more than ordinary people say, and that is neither here nor there. But they don't understand how it can be even better than that. Either is or it isn't, it must be better. And it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what either you say or see, there's that one place that my parents have the curving arch on the top. It's pulling, yeah. I'll talk to you later. See you later. Bye.